Not a whole lot. What's going on with you?
Um, it's been a long week. I will explain more in detail after the show's over. But it's been a long week, and the Yankees have done nothing to make my emotions run a little bit better. Um,
Yeah, I mean, since
yeah,
the last time we spoke,
the Yankees have won like 2 games. That was what 2 weeks ago,
well, I
three
was gonna
weeks
say
ago.
they were just stepping
Yeah.
all over the intro. I was gonna say they were
Oh,
in
my bad.
first place. You guys had the 2024 banner already stitched up, ready to figuring out where you're gonna hang it in the park. Garrett Cole was coming back. Everyone was super excited about that. So yeah, what happened?
I know this show can go long, but how much time do you have? Because a lot has happened. Um, where to start? I don't even know where to actually begin. The pitching has collapsed. I guess we could start there. The pitching has largely collapsed.
Okay.
Now,
All right.
I think the reality of the pitching staff lies somewhere between the clear overperformance from yesteryear, which feels like yesteryear at this point, and the clear underperformance now. The truth of the matter lies somewhere in between. Now, I do think they could act well. I mean, everybody could use a starter. Like everybody could use a starter. But I think the Yankees damn sure need a starting pitcher at some point. So there's that. Also, the Yankees offense is built in one of the dumbest ways imaginable. I'll explain. Like, yes, you have Judge and so they could do whatever they want. Understood. Generational talents, yada yada yada. They could do whatever they want. The rest of the lineup is slow contact hitters who don't do damage. So the Yankees are trying to the way putting the ball in play and the high contact players works. People always tell you you're putting pressure on the defense. I think that's a load of bullshit, but they tell you they're putting pressure on the defense. Brother, what pressure are you putting on the defense with DJ LeMahieu hit the two hopper to short? Please tell me what pressure? What pressure? Where?
I mean, I recently watched DJ stripe one off the right field wall.
We're gonna get to that too in a second because that annoyed me and Judge hitting a ball like 800 miles an hour in the first inning and it not even getting to the warning track really pissed me off in the first inning, but I digress. Yeah, then you have Anthony Volpe, who I'm here to say it. This might be irrational, this might be emotional. I'll get out in front of that. I quit on that fella. The offensive side. The offensive side. Yes, he could run the bases. He never gets on the bases. That's a topic for another day. And he could defend his ass off. I think that kid might be a rockhead. I'll explain. Now,
The whole team, honestly, it's a very dumb team, like just full of morons.
Listen, buddy. Yes, number one, yes, and them not walking Devers the second at bat that he hit the home run on Sunday is something I probably will spend 12 minutes on the show, but we'll get to that in a bit. Yeah, the thing with Volpe, I think Volpe might be a legitimate rockhead. Why I say this? Number one, so this year, and we touched on it on this program. Like coming in, they were talking all this shit about the flattened back path, and he's trying to put the ball in play more. Dot 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 dot. Right. So it worked at the beginning of the year. It seemed to work when honestly he was running hot luck. Like that's how that went. Like the batted, the under the radar stuff, the under the hood stuff always said like the regression's gonna hit and it's gonna hit hard. Here the fuck we are, right? But looking at him last year, where he was admittedly bad, but he's a 22-year-old rookie, like sure, and saying the problem here is that you should become a slap hitter is incomprehensibly stupid. And from what I'm hearing, that was a him choice, not management. He went to them like, yeah, I think I need to make this change. It's dumb on so many levels. Like, first of all, he didn't get to the major leagues by doing this. So I have no idea why you want to do that now. Like, you got to the major leagues partially because in the minors, he maximized pulling fly balls. That's why he got to the fucking majors. That's part of what made him an intriguing prospect to begin with. And then also, the avenue you're trying to take is gonna make you less fucking money and the team worse. So where does any of this make sense? And then the base running errors where I was like, all right, I'm throwing in the towel. I'm good. Like, I'm good on this dude. Like, I'm throwing in the towel. I'm not gonna sit here and dunk on him every day. I don't have the energy for that. I don't care to, because he seems like a decent enough kid. I just think he's kind of stupid.
The whole team, honestly, like feels like one of the dumber teams in baseball.
It's
like
the dumbest team I've ever watched every day. The dumbest.
Ben Rice has no idea where or maybe even what third base is. Just not a clue.
Bro. Like, did he take off at the beginning? I don't even remember. I don't remember. It was so goofy that he was in between second. I believe the ball was in the outfield. So it's like,
sure was, yeah.
Well, if they had caught it, I don't know if he thought they caught the ball. I don't know what was going through his mind. But bro, if they caught the ball, you're already out. You might as well just continue to run into third base at that point.
Yeah,
I have no idea why you're turning back. Hell, even Sunday night when Soto hit the double. First of all, a good throw beats him by 50 feet, number one. So he shouldn't have been going to second in the first place. But then he makes the turn, he makes the mistake. He makes the error of going to second. And then he stops between first and second for a second. And it's like, why? Why? I don't. The Yankees do so much dumb shit on a regular basis, and it's unbelievable to witness. True.
I mean, I know you and other Yankee fans think we're like having fun, make it like talking about Aaron Judge, but swinging first pitch and popping a ball up 1,000 miles into the sky, like he's just not smart either. Like
I think Aaron Judge isn't smart either for very different reasons than you do. Once he said he was pining for Alex Verdugo.
Bad GM. That most players are bad GMs. Rafael Devers recently called Josh Winkowski the best pitcher in the team. Like they say insane things. Like I won't hold against him. Like I'm sure there are reasons he thinks Alex Verdugo are good. I'm sure they're all incorrect, but I'm sure he has his reasons. But his whole plate approach, kind of the entire series. What do you have? 2 hits, and they were just in the Saturday game.
I want to say he had 2.
I know he had.
No, he had one. He had one Sunday. He had one Sunday, I believe. If I'm not mistaken. I don't remember how many he had total. I think it was 2 though. Regardless,
that's what him and Soto went 2 for 10 in the 100-run game you guys had on Saturday. They didn't contribute at all. That was like it was
Ben Rice and the Pips.
Right. Yes. And so Friday and Sunday, the only games I cared about, Judge did nothing. And he was like actively came up in a lot of situations that could have won the Yankees those games. And it's like he shits on the rest of the league. Other than game 2 in 2018, he's never done anything against the Red Sox. And even in that game,
that's not true. But also, it's definitely not true. Now,
what has he done?
I'm willing to throw. He's hit a few big home runs off the Red Sox. Now, a lot of those came in seasons where the Red Sox were dog shit. To be fair, that is true. That part is true. But you just said he ain't done shit against the Red Sox.
I mean, you talk about 2020. I think he did one in 2020.
There was a whole reel of him hitting big home runs, and a few of them came against Boston in years that Boston were terrible. So
there were replays.
Sure, he has. Sure. But as far as his plate approach, well, first of all, it's really funny that he went to a slump the minute his hitting coach started talking shit. That's really, really, really funny. Objectively, he was talking shit about the Yankees player development. Because there was a graphic like Aaron Judge does X in wins and does Y in losses, and obviously the Yankees have been losing every game for like 3 weeks now. But he's like, "Oh, this is what my man's is doing, and y'all not doing nothing. Where's your player development?" So he was talking shit, and then since then, Judge is like 2 for 20, so fitting. But as far as his plate approach, him swing at the first of all, it was a good pitch. He just missed it. Now, the next dude swinging at the first pitch right after that made me want to launch my shoe through the TV.
But he does that. Like, he does that every time. And that's where
he's not good enough to justify it.
No, he's not. But it's when he hit that first inning home run against the Red Sox in Boston 3 weeks ago. Yeah, it's the first. That's what he does. Yeah, Kenley knew that. And he was like, I'm not going to throw you anything straight, and you're going to be out.
And he's dumb. Like, it's dumb. He's dumb. That one, I don't even have the energy to like be mad about what Verdugo does anymore. I just tweet the bits on Twitter and you know, call him call him Bark X or Bark this, Bark that every way I can. I don't have the energy to be mad. He's just he is what he is, and none of this is unpredictable. I said it on this program. None of this is unpredictable. I said it on Twitter. Like he ain't that guy. He's not. And like it's easy to like him at first for other people, not me. But it's easy for other people. It's easy to like him, and then eventually you're going to see why he wore out his welcome in Boston. And again, there's a reason that Boston traded him within the division to their rival and was popping champagne after they did it. There's a fucking reason for it, whether you agree with them or not. There's a reason for that. But Red Sox fans warned us, and by us I mean them, because they didn't have to warn me. I was on y'all side, like, hey, this is not going to go well. Y'all not going to like this after too long. And here the fuck we are. 800 ground outs to second base later, and he's somehow batting leadoff now, which is great. Great.
This is, I mean, before the season when we were doing our predictions, this team, what are they? 7-16, their last 23. They won last night, right?
Yes, 2-1. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, congrats.
Yeah.
So 7-16, their last 23. I didn't think they were this bad, but this is closer than the team that was murdering everyone in the first 2 months. And then even when we sat here and looked through all the wins, it was like, yeah, they're just beating up on like just not real MLB.
They're not beating anybody now. Bad.
No, they're not. They're just bad.
They're not beating nobody now. I think
like I said, I don't think I even coming into the season, I didn't think they were this bad. But part of the reason I wasn't super high on them, they've got 2 guys in a 9-man lineup. Like that's not enough. Like nowhere near enough. Now, you got a lot from Stanton first half. He's obviously been out. I think if your team is built on whether or not Giancarlo Stanton is healthy in big 2024, that's a bad team. Like that's not a good team.
I think we're using the word bad a little bit too liberally. Personally, I do also think that the truth definitely wasn't how they started. Like, yeah, I was having a good time, and they were winning every day. That was never sustainable, especially because the lineup build, we see it. Like first of all, they were playing at like 112 win pace. That was never going to fucking continue. And listen, the lineup is Judge Stanton, Judge Soto, and then like nobody was relying on Stanton coming into the season. He was bad the last 2 years. Nobody was relying on that. Obviously, like I'm not going to criticize them for Glaber falling off a fucking cliff. Nobody really could have foreseen that. Fine. And then the rest of it is just what? You had Jose Trevino starting. He's a catcher, whatever. He ain't there for his bat. Cool. Rizzo, we saw what he did after the concussion last year. LeMahieu, we've seen what he's did for 4 years. Verdugo, same shit as the last however many episodes I've been bitching about that dude. Same shit. Like this is not exactly a well put together lineup. And I understand what the thought process was. Well, part of the end game, the oversimplification of it is you think that Aaron Judge, Juan Soto, if you get good Glaber Torres, which they haven't yet, and a whole bunch of average hitters should be a good lineup. I understand that. And I don't even necessarily wholly disagree with it. Why are we chasing every single slow ground ball merchant in the United States? That's the part that I don't fucking understand. That doesn't help you. Especially because if they're going to end so many rallies hitting ground balls. So many fucking rallies. Like, that's the problem here. If they had a whole bunch of like Jazz Chisholm is like a 105 OPS plus bat. He's also going to strike out. He's also going to, he also has some power. I think that doesn't play well enough in Florida because they play in one of the worst parks. Yeah. But like somebody like that would fit better than fucking DJ LeMahieu. If for nothing else, he ain't going to hit 8 million double plays a week.
I can't stress enough how little Yankee fans deserve Jazz Chisholm. Like, I can't stress it enough. Like, Juan Soto, as much as I don't want him on the Yankees for personal preferences, he is a very go about his business Yankee-like hitter. And I'm talking about historically. Like, for the last 100 years, you could have put Juan Soto on any Yankee team and it would have made sense.
Right.
Jazz Chisholm fits on the Yankees in 0 universes. Like, absolutely 0. The guy has way too much fun playing baseball. If he goes to the Yankees, I'm going to strap a bomb to my chest. Like, I don't, it's not about his talent level, which is, I mean, he was voted like the most overrated player in baseball, which is absurd.
It is. I don't know who's rating Jazz Chisholm like that, bro. Who is?
He's a fine player.
He's a fine player. Like who? Like yes, he was on the MLB The Show cover. Great. Okay,
that's it. Like
that's basically it. Nobody's running around like Jazz Chisholm is one of the game's best. Like nobody's saying that. So who is?
There's no one watching nearly enough Marlins games to come to the conclusion that Jazz Chisholm even exists, let alone is good or bad. But the Yankees should not, like, that's where Manfred needs to step in and say, like, baseball reasons, this can't happen. Like, Jonathan India is a Yankee. Now that I've said that, he's for sure going to end up on the Red Sox. But Jonathan India, everything about him tells me he's a Yankee. You know that's correct.
I will not confirm or deny said statement. I will not. But yes, he is. I'll just leave it at that. I cannot take it any further. My manager will not allow me to. No, but jokes aside, first of all, I'm a Yankee fan. I deserve that.
Jazz Chisholm?
Yeah, I deserve that.
No, false.
Why? What did I do? Why is fuck me for? What did I do to you?
Judged by the company you're kept. I don't listen. When something happens about Boston, I sit there and I just have to eat that. You know what I mean? It's not like, whoa, I didn't say it. Like, no, that's the whole city has to wear it. So yeah, you have to wear this.
Okay, but that's a they issue, not a me issue. I don't got to wear nothing.
Same thing.
No,
it's the same thing.
No.
I pulled up their numbers because I was curious. Volpe has a higher WAR than Cedon Rafaela because WAR, as I've said in the past, deeply racist stat. Everything else, Rafaela clears him kind of across the board. Higher OPS plus, higher OPS, higher slugging. On base goes to Volpe because Cedon Rafaela, he'll do a lot. He's not drawing a walk anytime soon. Higher batting average.
Having a lower OBP than Volpe is a really hard thing to accomplish.
I mean, Volpe's at 304.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the point.
So Rafaela hits 250. His OBP is 277. So he's getting on base via the hit.
He ain't there to watch.
He has no interest. If you've walked Cedon Rafaela this year, you should be removed from professional baseball. You are a terrible pitcher.
It's
Rafael's he's doubled him up in home runs and 100 less plate appearances.
That's not a surprise.
Again, we know all those plate appearances are all of them. He has not drawn a walk. So those are all. How many has he actually drawn? 11. He's drawn 11 walks.
11 walks. It's July 11th. That's crazy. How many plate appearances has he had?
334 plate.
What's that percentage wise? Let me calculate that. That's the 3%.
2.5. So yeah, I was gonna say 2.5%, something like that.
3.2.
Yeah.
Like I knew it was low, but that's comically low.
He's got no interest. Just
not for nothing. And I'm not comparing him directly to Rafael Devers, who I will bitch about in a minute. But like that's kind of the type of hitter that terrifies me because there's nothing you could throw where it's like, yeah, he's not going to swing at that. You know what I mean? There's nothing you could throw that is like, yeah, he's not going to fucking swing at that. But speaking of fucking Devers, I'm so tired of that guy. Oh my God. Oh, I'm so tired of that guy. Hit 87 home runs off my favorite team. What you mean? What did he do?
Whose fault is that?
My favorite team's fault. That's why I'm tired of him.
Right.
What you mean? I'm tired of seeing him. Yes. And we will get to the favorite team part of it right now because listen, all right, in a 3-3 game in the fifth inning, not walking Rafael Devers, fine. Hell, honestly, objectively removing the passion, removing my frustration, objectively, I understand the other side of the intentional walk argument. I get it. I understand mathematics. I'm not a dummy. Like I get it. Like it's more likely that Rafael Devers makes an out than it is that he hits a home run. That's just technically fucking true. It is. It's literally true. Now, I think it matters less when he's beating you over the head every time you play against him, number one. And number two, I don't think we're asking the right questions. The right question is not, is Rafael Devers more likely to hit a home run or do some damage, double, whatever, than make an out? The right question to ask is it more fucking likely that Rafael Devers beats you or Connor Wong beats you? And that's no disrespect to Connor Wong. He's had a nice year. He's cool. If Connor Wong hits the ball 430 feet, tip the cap and move on. You take the L. That's it. Or fucking Friday night. That second baseman with the Soto fake stance. Valdez.
Emmanuel Valdez.
He was hitting behind Devers, and he still won't walk. Why?
I mean, Valdez will turn on one quick. The Red Sox love to be like he's Juan Soto.
He does. If he
no,
does,
for sure, I get it. You're not wrong, but
yeah,
even like the Nesson broadcast, I guess Yes was doing it too. But yeah, they love to compare Valdez to Juan Soto, and it's just like, can we maybe not do this?
Aesthetically, I see it. Aesthetically, obviously, stance-wise, I see it. I would rather they just...
There's only so many fucking ways to stand. Yeah, I get. Yeah, he's gonna... I'm sure he stands like 9 other guys in the league right now. I don't...
Fair, not fair. All this is fair. I was gonna agree. I was gonna end up agreeing with you. Like, all right, he has a similar stance. They don't have anywhere near similar production. Can we just stop with
they have similar power, for sure. It's just the connection rate.
It's everything.
Wildly different. And I like Valdez. Valdez, when we're losing, like at the beginning of the year, Valdez not so fun because he'll like make this like barrel roll stop and think he can throw it all in one motion. It goes right in the fucking stands. Like but when we're up, like we have been the last month and a half, tremendous player, that great morale guy. Every time we send him back to Worcester, he hits like 7 home runs in a row. Like he's a classic quadruple A player. He's way too good for triple A. The majors is way too good for him, but I love having him around because he will every once in a while sock one into the seats. Much like Masataka Yoshida, who all-star Clay Holmes just had nothing for.
First of all, I don't know why Clay Holmes made the all-star game.
He's
he's not even the best reliever on his own team, so I'm not even exactly sure why. Like Luke Weaver's been better. So like if you wanted to pick a Yankee reliever that bad, you could have picked Luke Weaver. And I get it. There's a bias against non-closer relievers. 100% get that shit. But regardless, Clay Holmes made it over Kenley Jansen, which no.
Mistake.
And there was another closer. Kimbrel. He made it over Kimbrel. Like he hasn't
Kimbrel did make it.
I swore he didn't. Maybe he did on. Maybe he did after the fact, but initially he didn't. I don't know if he ended up making it, but I had an Orioles fan in one of my group chats bitching about it. That's the only reason I know that Kimbrel didn't make the All-Star game. But he didn't. Not initially anyway. But like to go back to the dumb team argument discussion, whatever you want to call it. Clay Holmes threw Masataka Yoshida 9 straight sinkers. 9. I'm sitting first of all, given how that game went and given how the last month has gone for the Yankees, I knew Yoshida was going deep. I know that sounds crazy, but I'm just waiting. I'm like, you know what? Given the Yankees have found every single way to lose, Yoshida hitting a 2-run bomb to right field would just be another feather in the cap, right? So I expected it. Now, I saw Clay throwing sinker after sinker after sinker. And like the timing of the swings are getting better and better, but he's out in front of me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Clay does realize he throws a slider, right? Number one. Number two, you don't need a ground ball here. You just need to get 1 out. This is not a situation where there's a run on first one. It's 2 outs. If he swings and misses, the game is fucking over. You need 1 out. Throw a fucking slider. He threw 9 straight sinkers. What kind of process is this? I find myself asking myself that question about the Yankees every day. Like, what kind of process is this? What are we doing?
I mean, it's what I've said about Bayo when he was struggling. It's like if he's only going to throw basically the same 2 pitches, guys are going to sit on it and hit it frequently. And they finally, the start in Miami, reintroduced the 4-seamer, which he came up to them and was like, hey, guys, can I fucking try it? So far, it's been better. So who could have seen that coming? But yeah, Yoshida, those long at bats, I don't care who the pitcher is, who the hitter is. Once they get to like 7-8 pitches, I never feel like the pitcher is going to get out of it. I don't care who it is. I don't think it's always going to end up in the seats, but I feel like I've seen that so many times in my life. It's like, and here's the 12th pitch of the at bat, and then gone. Yoshida, he's had a terrible year. I don't mean season. I mean since about this point last year until now, he's not been the guy he was the first couple of months of his rookie campaign. But he's too good of a hitter if he's going to see the same pitch 9 times in a row, like, and he's fouling it off every time.
9 times in a row. He's out in front of them.
To hit it.
This ain't like he was late on all of them and just no, bro. Like you don't think he's going to do something after seeing the same fucking pitch 9 times straight? What kind of and speaking of bad process, Carlos Rodon.
I mean, he's just bad.
Here's the thing. I think he's salvageable. The problem with Carlos Rodon is he also might be a rockhead. I'll explain. His fastball is incredibly bad, right?
Terrible.
It's incredibly bad. And it gets treated like such every game. Every game. Like, you look at the box score of the last 5-6 games Rodon has started, you could tell exactly when he started off throwing fastballs and damn near primarily fastballs and when he went away from it. Every game, look at the box score. 3 runs. Okay, he was throwing fastballs that inning. Okay, no runs the next 4 innings. Okay, he wasn't spamming four-seam fastballs for that time. It's every start. Like, your fastball's not good. Like, he might think it got him there. Like, great. We're in big 2024, Carlos. Like, and we're seeing him get results when he mixes in other shit and makes his fastball the tertiary pitch or whatever the fuck you want to call it. Like, you get better results doing that shit. But every start he comes out like fastball go burr. Like, no, it don't go burr, sir. It don't. It's getting clapped every start. Fix it. Do something about it.
His ERA is 4.63. His FIP is 4.67. I don't remember the last time I saw them so perfectly in sync. Like,
he
those runs are earned, friend. This is nothing to do.
He's getting every bit of the results he earned. He's getting all the results he earned, and it's rather infuriating because listen, I think put it like this: that contract is a sunk cost. Yeah, I think there's no question about that shit. That contract is a sunk cost. 2021, Carlos Rodon's dead. That man's dead. He's gone. He ain't coming back. You have to adjust and figure it out. And am I there? Do I know who is behind this shit? No. Given all the adjustments all the other pitchers make, I'm going to assume that it's a Carlos issue. Because all the other dudes make adjustments. Yes, they've been bad the last whatever month. I get that. They're trying to fix it. And there's tangible changes that they're making. Whereas Carlos is like, fastball go vroom. Like, no, it don't. It don't. So it's getting clapped. It goes vroom out the park, Carlos.
His last year in Chicago, he had a 12.6 strikeout per 9. His only year in San Francisco, he had a 12 K per 9, which led the league. 2.37 ERA, 2.88 ERAs, FIP 2.65, 2.25.
The man's dead.
It's just more. Even what he was like elite at is just gone, because even like 2019, he only had 7 starts, but he was still that 12 K per 9 guy. So his swing and miss is just gone. He reminds me a lot right now of Yankee James Paxton, because Yankee James Paxton also could not get out of the first inning without giving up 3-4 runs, and then he was fine the rest of the start, like completely fine. And if there are certain guys, if you could almost have them throw like a simulated first against your own team, just get all those runs out of the way and then have them settle in for 5, they'd be great. But Carlos Rodon, it's the best case scenario you have for him is Red Sox John Lackey, because that's the only guy I've seen sign a big money deal like this and have 2 of the most atrocious seasons. Like, he's Patrick Corbin. That's really what he is. He's 12-15 as a Yankee, 12-15, 5.49 ERA, 5.10 FIP, 9 K per 9, strikeout per walk 2.91. Like, that's horrible.
He clearly has to make a transition as a pitcher that he either refuses to acknowledge or isn't ready to make. So and the thing is, like, at least last year you could chalk it up to he was injured, bad luck, bad year. Sometimes guys have bad years. I understand that. Okay, we're in a different year now, Bucko. You're healthy, and that should have. And your fastball is still getting. Your fastball, like, yes, and I get it. His fastball is a big reason he got that contract. I understand. As the information changes, your approach needs to. The information says, "Yo, your fastball, either it's bad, it's predictable, or see both, because they sit on the shit, and the location usually is bad too. So it's just bad all around. He needs to change that, because we have it on record. Like, we see it start by start, and he says the same shit after every start too. I usually don't give a shit about what players and managers say, and we'll touch on Aaron Boone briefly, I guess.
I was going to say that's where it comes from.
Yeah, like, I don't really give a fuck what they say, because nobody's ever going to be happy with what they say. Because if they acknowledge they suck, it's going to be, why can't you fix it? If they say it'll be better, why can't you acknowledge you suck? You know what I'm saying? Like, they're going to bullshit you one way or the other. So I don't really care. But after every start, like, I got to mix my pitches better. Then do it. We all know this. Stevie Wonder could see it. We are very fucking aware you got to mix your pitches better. We are very aware. I know what you were thinking. But we are very aware.
Yeah. He has the gift of sight.
But we are very aware you got to fix it. So fucking do it. You can see it.
He can just see. He's like, yeah, Rodon stinks. Yeah, I don't know what you want from the man. He's watching the games. He doesn't like what he's seeing. The Garrett Cole must love Carlos Rodon, because he has come back, has been terrible, like just outright terrible, and no one cares because Rodon's right there. Heel was bad up until this Red Sox start, where he was objectively really good.
Yeah.
And then, by the way, I only watch Yankee games when they're playing the Red Sox. Do you guys always have this 1.5 mile wide strike zone? Is that why Luis Gil's so good? Because he can throw it in the opposite batter's box, and that's a strike?
I mean, Aaron Judge plays for my favorite team, so I'm not really gonna go for we get the big strikes that nobody else does. Everybody else does. So
I couldn't disagree more. Through 6 games,
I watch all the games. What you mean? What you mean?
I'm sorry, Aaron Judge is big, and that makes it hard to.
I'm not going for that. I'm not going for that shit. Like, you could tell the balls are just fucking shins when you call them strikes.
I don't remember seeing that this weekend. I saw him check swing and didn't even swing, but sat himself down because he was like, I've had enough of these bully Red Sox pitchers that I have nothing for.
That's what that was the takeaway from that. I think we live in a world where we don't like floppers. We don't like people who cheat the refs. Aaron Judge swung. He knew he swung, so he.
But he did. I don't even think he did. That's the problem.
He swung. He swung.
I don't think he did. But he didn't fight it at all. He didn't even stand there. Like they didn't even get to appeal. He just put himself out.
Listen, I think it's bad form anyway. I think it's bad form. But jokes aside, like it was honest. It was too honest for me. I don't want honest. It was honest. I don't want honest because the thing is, like, umpires make enough bad calls.
That's Aaron Judge.
Umpires make enough bad calls where you don't have to give them hints.
Imagine if Judge was in center field for the Jeffrey Meyer game, the whole Yankees dynasty of the late '90s just doesn't even happen.
It would be like the meme of the dude in court on the stand that he's just pointing.
yeah. So that's interference. Interference. I got to call it.
He interfered.
Call it how I see it.
Call that shit. He interfered with that shit. Shut up, Aaron. Shut up. No, I got to be honest. No, but him walking off I found that to be weird. Even if like he knew he swung, we all knew he swung. But like
I'm not even trolling. I genuinely don't think, especially a player of his caliber, checking his swing. I didn't think he broke his wrists. I didn't think he swung.
I think he swung. But at the same time, again, like, what if the umpire blinked when you did it? What if the umpire just didn't see it? Like, that happens all the time. So
they're guessing for the most part. Right. They're going to a guy 100 feet away.
Give him a hint. Right.
The best appeal system they have is a guy
that's
at
crazy.
a somewhat decent angle 100 feet away.
That's always been crazy, by the way. Like, we're in big 2024. We're still doing this. That's insane to me. But
what do you got, Tim? He's like, I don't know.
like Tim is like, oh shit, what did you do? And then you see Aaron Judge walking to the dugout. All right.
Yeah. Listen to the man. I don't.
Like, yeah, he's telling you he swung, so I agree with him. Yeah, he swung.
Cole's pitching about 4 1/3 every time out. 6.75 ERA, 6.46 FIP. Again, not really striking anyone out. or at least the strikeout to walk ratio is pretty much even. And yeah, Rafael Devers, another 2 hits off of him. Aaron Boone, he went on John Boy. I don't know if you saw. Just a tremendous, just my manager. Hashtag my manager, Aaron Boone. Love this guy. Love him more every time he speaks. Poor Jimmy was like trying to ask him legitimately, like, what the fuck is wrong with you pitching to this guy all the time? He was like, because Boone said something at first. John Boy was like, yeah, we should have warned you about the Cole Devers matchup ahead of time. And Boone like immediately gets into defense mode. He's like, I ride with my guys. Rafael Devers has a 3,000 OPS lifetime against Garrett Cole. And Boone was like,
wait, is it really 3,000 or is that hyperbole?
No, that's what Jimmy read it off. It's like 3.060 or something like that. But it started with a 3. I didn't know they went that high. So I was like, okay.
Legit. That's why I asked you if it was hyperbole. I've never heard of OPS that fucking high. So that's why I asked. But
well, it's something like 12 at bats, 6 home runs. Like it's every other.
No, I mean, he earned it. Like I've just never seen it. Yeah. Like he earned it. Like I know it makes perfect fucking sense. I've just never seen something that high.
And Boone basically tried to say it was small sample size theater and that like it'll level off to a reasonable level in the future. So that what I hear is he's going to keep pitching to Rafael Devers, and this is why he's the best. He's the GOAT.
Listen, to be somewhat fair to Aaron Boone here, most managers I think would attack this the same way. Now I think they're all Looney Tunes, but most managers would attack that the same way. And as far as what he said, do you expect him to say Garrett Cole's Rafael Devers bitch? Like what do we expect him to say?
It's not that. It's the way he goes about saying things. Like he gets so angry. There are other managers who would be able to talk about it differently. Like, yeah, I just believe in my guy. He doesn't even do that. He even says like it'll level off to a reasonable range. What's that? 2,000 OPS? Like, what does that even mean? Like, what that he even says in the best range of outcomes, this guy's putting up an 1,800 OPS against my guy, and we'll live with that. Like, that's where it's like this guy's just so goddamn funny to me. Because there are ways you can also still pitch to Devers. I understand he's a bad ball hitter.
I disagree.
I
firmly disagree.
You don't just have to point to first.
I disagree. Did you see the fucking pitch he hit for the second home run?
Well, that's because Verdugo pissed him off. That only happened because of Verdugo.
Rafael Devers has one mode against the Yankees, and that's pissed off. He has one mode.
No,
we've seen this before. All right. I'll ask this calmly. What was the difference between what Rafael Devers did on that particular swing versus what he's done against the Yankees for 6 years? What's the difference? I didn't see no difference. Like maybe he ran the bases slower. I don't know. I didn't watch. I turned the game off.
Even the homer against Cole, like Devers stood in the batter's box like Ellie De La Cruz when he was in the minor. Like he doesn't do that ever. He's done it twice I can remember. Once against Cal Quantrill, who showed him up like 2 innings prior, like top of the first. Cal Quantrill struck him out and did the Macarena coming off the mound. And so Devers' next at bat took him 470 into right field and stood there and watched it. And this time, those are the only 2 times I've ever seen him stand there and be like, I'm better than almost everyone on your team. The Yankees are a rare case where they actually have people better than Rafael Devers. Most of the time, he's right. Saturday, or Sunday rather, I think he was just like, yeah, I'm still on my fuck you shit. Yesterday's was cool. We lost by 1,000. Today, I will be the difference. So yeah, I do think he goes up. If the Astros throw him that pitch, he misses it. I promise you, he misses that pitch.
Okay, but like, I'm the person on the other side of this stuff. I've seen Rafael Devers do the same shit. But I watched Rafael Devers hit at 103 mile an hour fastball at his neck to left center, like 430 feet. Like I don't know what the difference between angry and non-angry Rafael Devers is. You might, not might. You do. Like you watch him every day. Sure, I respect that. Me being the person who's seen him hit 87 home runs against his favorite team, I don't know what the fuck the difference is. So
here's the difference is he pulled it, which is absurd. Like I still know how he pulled that.
That's the whole point. If he hit it to left center, I'm not talking about this, bro. Like he
non-furious Devers, that's a double to left center. You know what I mean? It's not anything crazy.
Maybe. Maybe it is, but like there's a way to pitch Rafael Devers. That sounds to me like lunacy. But again, you'd be more familiar with it, sure. Me, that sounds like lunacy. I've watched this man hit fastballs neck high, 100 miles an hour to left center out of the park, changeups at his feet to left center out of the park. I watched him hit. What did Tonka throw? A fastball? I don't remember what he threw, but it was in the other fucking batter's box. I watched him pull the ball out of like I watched him pull the ball out of the park to right center. What way is there to pitch him? Like that's my thing. What like I tweeted him and I had people like, oh, it's more likely he makes an out. This, that. Are you asking for an intentional walk? Yes, yes. In that particular case, yes. Like, listen, the Cole one from Saturday, whatever. Like it's 3-3 in the fifth inning. There's nobody on base. All right, bro, I got that. Fine. Hell, the first home run was scoreless. You don't want to walk him in that. Fine, I understand that. You don't want to actively put traffic on base in a tie game. Blah blah blah. Understood. Like there's obvious reasoning for this stuff. You're down 1-0 in a game. In a game, obviously, you have not scored in 8 innings. You have not really come particularly close to scoring either. And it's been your offense has been on bullshit for 3 weeks. So like. Just put him. If Connor Wong wants to hit the ball 800 feet, you're gonna lose anyway. Like here's the thing: if Devers hits the ball at the park, you lose. If you put him on first and Connor Wong does and it does that and hits the ball at the park, you fucking lose. Take your chance for Connor Wong. That's all I'm asking. Well, it's more likely the math says, and I know I sound like one of them anti-analytics people when the intentional walk topic come up because I disagree firmly with the idea that you should just not intentionally walk people because it's more likely to do X, Y. Fuck that. Connor Wong is in the on-deck circle. Well, again, I'm not trying to act like he's bad. He's not. Rafael Devers is the fucking boogeyman. Put him on first. It's not complicated. Put him on first. When the situation calls for it, put him on fucking first base.
I'm trying to see. So he only has a career 839 OPS against the Yankees.
That feels impossible.
That's what it's saying. 57 games. And just at Yankee Stadium. Sorry, at Yankee Stadium. 839.
That feels impossible. I'd have guessed there was a 1 in front of that shit. That feels impossible.
Against the Yankees in general, 871.
So he does damage everywhere.
Yeah, I mean.
Not surprising to hear, but yes.
I was going to say, yeah, Fenway Park, he does all right. 873 career at Fenway Park. Decent. But the teams he does poorly against, there's teams he's only played like 1 or 2 series against. They're at the bottom. The Astros are the bottom of teams he's played routinely. 660 OPS in 32 games. Oakland somehow above that. I think he just doesn't respect them. And Tampa has got him at 721, which is still like average. Like he's an average hitter against Tampa. Mm-hmm. The Twins, he's kind of low. The Orioles, the Orioles is 837, but they're in the bottom third. So he doesn't struggle against most people. He's quite good, despite how many people tell me otherwise. But the Yankees are kind of in the bottom half of this list here. Like the Angels are ahead of them. He gets 875 against them. The Blue Jays, 953. He has no respect for them. And then the Guardians. I think the Guardians, it's like he sees Jose there and he's like, I want people to know we're closer than it appears. Like Jose is so good. I respect him so much. I just want people to realize it's not that wide of a gap.
I'm just tired of watching that dude, bro. Put him on first. The intentional walk is a thing. Baseball's the only one of the fucking major sports where you could point to the man on the other team as the best player and say, you're not going to beat me today. Somebody else is going to have to do it. The only one. And they just don't utilize this. Because of math. Fuck math, bro.
He's only played two games at Coors Field. He has a 1,500 OPS.
Could you imagine a whole season of Rafael Devers at Coors?
There's so many players. Someone needs to, it's one of the sneakiest stories in all of sports. Someone rich needs to buy the Rockies and just spend and just get as many power hitters as like 9 power hitters in a line. Because like when they had Helton and Walker, like they were
so fun.
Yeah,
it was so fucking fun. Like there's no reason why Kyle Schwarber should have never played in Coors. Not one find one fucking reason, especially post DH. There's not one reason why you shouldn't have played in Coors. Not one.
Yeah, there's just so many guys. Like even like when Tulo and Cargo were there simultaneously, that obviously wasn't Helton.
Cargo was so fire.
Oh, yeah, Cargo was unbelievable. Like that, the Rockies should have to have like 9 Adam Dunns essentially at all times. Like these Ryan McMahons and people like this, like fine baseball players, but what are you doing? Like what is not?
And they should trade Ryan McMahon. I don't know why you would keep him. Like,
they should trade a lot of value.
Well, to be fair, not a lot of them are good. So like the one or two good players you have, yeah, like Ryan McMahon, you're probably he's currently running a career high pace. He will probably never have more value. You're not going anywhere anytime soon. Just fucking trade him. And he's not like 21 either. He's like 27 if I'm not mistaken. Just fucking trade him while his value is at its highest and move on. Like, it's not complicated. Right. But the Rockies make everything complicated because they're stupid. So
well, they have no idea what the trade deadline is. Like they have
they just pull up in August, like, all right, we're officially out of it. Let's try and make a trade. Like that's how this works. The trade deadline passed, guys.
Just doesn't really click with them that's a day of the calendar. But yeah, the Red Sox, they obviously dropped one to Oakland last night, going for 2 out of 3 tonight. Houck on the mound, feel fairly confident there. We're kind of cruising at the moment, and it's great. We should be getting Liam Hendricks back or not back because he's never played for us before, but at some point. A lot of people want to trade Kenley because of that, because he expires at the end of the year. And not everything needs to be turned into an asset. The Red Sox right now are overflowing in the minors. I'm not saying it's the most stacked system of all time, but just in terms of bodies they have, it's overflowing. They're going to lose more people Rule 5 this winter unless they trade them at this deadline. I don't like if Chris Martin had been better this year, I'd understand it more. I'd still disagree with it because Liam Hendricks is coming back from a horrible injury and hasn't pitched Major League Baseball this year. So just to assume he's going to be your closer. Plus, he's signed for next year. So it's like, all right, we already have that plan in place. It's not like if you lose Kenley at the end of the year, you're fucked. Trading Kenley just for an asset, it feels like you're trying to do too many cute things at once. Right now, the vibes are so high on the team. Baseball's the kind of sport where doing something like that, still trying to convince the guys, oh, no, we're good. We've got this guy. I would rather just have Hendricks come in the 8th and Kenley hold down the 9th the rest of the year and then give it to Hendricks next year. That seems like such a more obvious move to me.
I think trading Kenley in a vacuum makes sense if you are – and like obviously, it's unlikely you're going to trade him for another major leaguer. But if for some reason somebody needed a closer and they had like a bat they could offload, and you're making like a 1-for-1 swap, that makes some sense. Like, all right, you're reallocating whatever. You think you need a bat more than you need Kenley Jansen. Okay, that makes some sense. When you're in the thick of the playoff race, trading Kenley Jansen when you're already a big market team, no less at that, who could afford to actively splurge in the trade market, assuming that it makes sense to, because like it's a seller's market. It's a good seller's market. It's not really a good buyer's market, but that's neither here nor there. That doesn't make a lot of sense. Like, not, as you said, not everything needs to be turned into an asset. And if the worst thing you get out of this is Kenley walks after you, let's say you lose in the first round of the playoffs, you went for it. You tried. You went for it. You kept your best players. You said, all right, we're pushing the fucking chips toward the middle of the table as reasonably as we can without like damaging our future.
Right.
And we're trying to maximize what we have. I'm not saying the Red Sox should be World Series favorites. I'm not saying any of that stuff. Please don't let that happen, please. But the Diamondbacks made the fucking World Series last year, okay? The Rangers won it. And now granted, the Rangers had a high payroll, yada, yada, yada. But like, the Rangers also stumbled into the playoffs. Nobody expected them to do anything.
Right.
The Phillies made the World Series a couple years ago based primarily on fucking vibes. Like, it was just vibes and home runs. Like, that was all it was for the Phillies. Like, all right, we're going to hit the ball high, far, celebrate, and we're going to be happy and shit. And they made the World Series off of that. You never know what could happen in a fucking baseball playoffs. Just act like you have several good players. And the Red Sox have done this, and Casas hasn't even been a factor yet. Now, right. I don't know if he's going to be one, but he has not been a factor yet.
My concern is they're going to use Casas as like, that's our big ad at the deadline, which it is, but it's not enough. Like, I'm thrilled to have him back. Dom Smith's played admirably for what he's been asked to do. He's been an admirable substitute.
Yes.
And Dom Smith feels like a big human. Casas interviewed him after the game the other night, and it's just like, Dom Smith might be 5'4". Like, I don't know how small Dom Smith is. What,
6'6"?
I think he's just like a burly. I think he's me. I think he's genuinely just my size, which is a large human being. But Dom Smith, I thought, was like 6'1", 6'2". Not even fucking close.
He's not.
Not next to
Casas. I think he's 6'1". Casas is a big motherfucker, bro.
Listen, they got him listed at 6 feet, which means he's 5'11" for sure.
Okay, fair. Fair. If that might be 5'10" for all we know. Right. But yes.
Because like they got Devers listed at 6 feet, and Devers is bigger than Dom Smith. So he's got to be 5'10", 5'11".
Okay.
But yeah, Dom Smith, he's just like a burly, powerful lad. So I think he gets looked at as being 6'2", and he's just not. Right. Right now, we had passing on the other day on Section 10 and talking about the trade deadline and how they killed the trade deadline. And I don't know, like too many teams think they can buy right now. They should, like, the easy fix is just bring back the waiver wire trade deadline at the end of August. Like, that's how you fix that.
Or push the trade deadline back. One of the two.
Yeah, either. I'm fine with either of those solutions because you're right. More teams would just fall out of it by the end of August.
Exactly. They wouldn't be able to delude themselves. Like, all right, we have 60 games left and we're 4 out. Like, it would just be, all right, we have 40 games. Oh, now we out. Like, we're done.
Yeah, simple.
Push the shit back.
To me, the reason the Red Sox should be buyers, I've seen some people point to run differential. The Red Sox just had a worse. They left New York with a negative run differential. I understand over the course of the season, it can be indicative of shit. Right now, I don't give like.
The Yankees have the second best run differential in baseball.
Right. Who gives a fuck?
Who gives a flying? The Yankees have won 2 games the last month. Who gives a fuck about run differential? That doesn't I get it tells a story. I'm not trying to say it doesn't. But again, I'd like to remind you, and I'm not saying it's like the Diamondbacks are the only fucking example because they're not, but they just did it though. Like the Diamondbacks just made the World Series after an 83 win season. So forgive me if a 90 game run differential sample where the Red Sox are missing a guy who might be their second best offensive player. Like they've been missing him the entire season, basically. So like, forgive me for not caring. I don't think that says anything. No, or it says you shouldn't buy. Like, it doesn't say shit.
Right. That's part of it. And that's like, you're going to add players. Players are going to get hurt. Like, it doesn't tell the absolute full story. Part of the reason they should buy, and I'm sure you feel similarly, the American League, I'm not scared of any of these teams come playoffs.
There's nobody to be scared of.
Top to bottom. I kind of feel similarly about the National League. Like, that's famous last words. We play the Dodgers on the other side of the All-Star break, but
I mean, the Dodgers are more flawed than people give them credit for one.
Much more flawed.
And for two, like the last 55 games, I want to say the Dodgers are they're what, 28 and 27. I read. Basically, the only reason the Dodgers aren't getting the Yankees flack is because their stink just isn't as stinky. Like, largely, that's what it is. Like the Yankees, they have been quite mid for a decent period of time now.
They've been out without Mookie for a while too, and that really the Yankees can't point. Like, Stanton's been out. No one's going to compare those two.
No, right, for sure.
You know what I mean? Right. So that's where it's like, oh, the Yankees have kind of gotten. I've been listening to a lot of Francesa lately because he's the GOAT.
Okay. Yeah,
and he's just like he's the best because I hadn't been listening to him, so I went back and listened to his like season previews for the Yankees and Mets. Underrated Francesa thing is he'll do like, even while he's talking about the Mets, he'll get the Yankees involved in the conversation. Like, he can't commit to just talking about the Mets. He's like, I love Jeff McNeil. I wanted him on the Yankees for a long time. Like, he just can't talk about the Mets without bringing it back to the Yankees. It's very funny. But especially when the Yankees are playing so poorly, he's like Clay Holmes should be getting like the 7th inning, and that's it. Like, we can't be closing games with this guy. He's the best. He's the absolute best. But he made a decent point. Like, you've expected Rizzo. Obviously, he's been bad. But you bring up Ben Rice, you've been getting production out of the guy you've been missing. So it's like you can't even point to, when Rizzo gets back, things will be fine. It's been fine. Judge He's been cool the last 2 weeks, but the losing didn't start 2 weeks ago. He was still hot when the losing
it was
started.
he was the only reason it didn't look even worse.
Right.
Like, that's the thing.
Right.
Like,
there was a stretch at the beginning of June where he was homering like every other at bat. It was absurd.
And they were still losing. So
yeah, him and Soto are 1-2 at MVP. Gunner's up there too, obviously. But them two are consistently all season have been 1-2 MVP. And it just hasn't really mattered. Like they haven't, and because baseball requires all 25 guys to contribute. But yeah, I just look at the rest of the American League. Cleveland is Cleveland. I respect Jose Ramirez. I respect the pitching factory they have, but I'm never going to be worried. They're up 3-1 on the Red Sox in 2007. We saw how that fucking went. I'll never be worried about Cleveland. Minnesota, get out of my face, Minnesota. The West, I know you're afraid of Houston. They haven't been as much of a problem for us. Mariners probably aren't making the playoffs. The Rangers would scare me if they could ever be consistent for a stretch. They refuse to do that. And then the Orioles.
I think the Rangers might be sellers.
They may be. It's certainly on the 10.
They
they're perfect. If they don't, they're the most poorly run team in the league because you have all the goodwill from last year. You just won. Now's the perfect time to sell.
Right. You understand how many Rangers fans are just probably just throwing their hands up after every loss. Like, oh well, I still have last year. Like, yeah, just fucking sell. Nobody cares.
You have all this like Wyatt Langford's come on as of late. Yeah. You know what I mean? Evan Carter, I saw a homer the other day. So it's like they have plenty of young guys to look at and be like, yeah, this is still cool. They should absolutely be selling. But I look at the rest of the American League, it's like like you said, the Red Sox should not be favorites by any stretch of any imagination. But when the favorites are technically the Orioles right now, and as a group, they've won 0 combined playoff games, not that worried. Not that worried.
And I mean, that's part of the reason why my whole existence on this program today is not a lot sadder, because I don't think the Yankees are that far away from turning this around. Like, one, they're getting significant contributions out of Ben Rice. 2, hopefully they figure out someday that Austin Wells is just a better player than Jose Trevino and play him as such. That would be nice. He's been really good the last month. You get Stanton back. I don't expect to see Jason Dominguez this year, personally, but we will see. I don't expect it. You make a couple of decent trade deadline acquisitions, and things can look up at that point. Mostly not because of the Yankees, but there are no other fucking juggernauts in Major League Baseball. Like, talent seems to be evenly dispersed in Major League Baseball at this point in a way that reflects itself in the quality of the teams. There's a reason that there's no real lineups you're looking at like everybody 1 through 9 is threats. That's just, and part of that is pitching is ahead of hitting at this point. That's part of it. Part of it is also talent. Like, there's not a lot of dudes where you're like, you know what? That team got 7 really good hitters. There's not a lot of teams like that. Like Baltimore is. And then that's kind of the list.
I said it to you a month ago at this point, but that's why it's like, yeah, I kind of do like the Red Sox more than a lot of teams. We have just more 800 OPS guys than anyone in the league. And that, again, isn't including Casas. So that's where it's like, yeah, when he gets back.
Like Jarren Duran is taking a leap. Like, we both are ardent Tristan Casas believers. Like, his sample isn't big yet, but like we both think he could take off. Devers is obviously amazing. Connor Wong has had a really good season. Like, you can squint hard enough and see a world where the Red Sox make 2 really good trades at the deadline and then make a deep run into the playoffs. Because again, the AL is not exactly knocking anybody's socks off.
Even before Casas got hurt this year, it was only 90 plate appearances. So again, not the biggest sample size, but he had an 857 OPS, 133 OPS plus. So it's like, I when he comes back, and I'm glad he's not rushing it. He had always set the Miami series, that was 4th of July, as when he wanted to come back. Obviously didn't happen. I don't even think he's ramped up to taking like full swings yet. So now it's like, yeah, give him the All-Star break. If he's back August 1st, they've done enough to sustain him being out. There's no reason to rush him back and just have him get hurt again. That'd be so fucking
Where do they usually hit him when he plays?
This year it was like 5th.
5th? I think that's a little weird, but okay.
Well, it's like they were starting the year lefty, and then O'Neill was hitting 4th, and then he was 5th.
Yeah, I think he should probably hit 2. But
yeah, I mean, Devers was 2. Now Devers is hitting 4th.
right. So okay, so I think like Casas, O'Neill, Devers probably makes the most sense. But
well, while I don't disagree with you, just from a hitting standpoint, they really have liked, and it's worked, Rafael at 9, Duran 1, Hamilton 2, because it's just so much speed. And you've seen what that speed does to.
But is Hamilton an everyday player for y'all?
He has been, yeah.
Because they what I read anyway, they scaled back his playing time the last couple of weeks. So
yeah, and I don't fully understand why. I do think we face a slew of lefties, but we then play Valdez, who's also a lefty. So I don't fully know why they've done that, but he's played 63 games.
And he stole like 26 bases?
23 for 24 on the season.
Like 12 on the Yankees, so congrats.
Yeah, he still leads the team in stolen bases, despite Duran playing literally every game. And that's not a shot at Duran. That's just how good Hamilton's been. And Hamilton sits here at 99 OPS. So he's quite literally a league average hitter over a very large sample size, which really wasn't his profile. He was never a bad hitter in the minors, but when you're just an okay hitter in the minors, they're like, oh yeah, you'll probably never hit major league pitching.
Yeah.
And he's done that, to his credit. So he's been getting on base at a 315 clip. That's enough to cause enough havoc. Is that what you want as your 2 hitter? No, not necessarily, but with the speed threat, and if Duran's already on ahead of him, good luck.
Yeah, and I mean, it's worked for them largely. So if it's worked, if it ain't broke, you don't have to fix it. So I get it.
They've been good at not, like, the only thing they've really stuck with this year is Duran 1. That's really it. Everything else has moved as they've needed it to move. Cora's done a great job. He's going to be tremendous with the Phillies next year. They're going to be lucky to have him. But yeah, this team every night is something different, and they've just made it a more enjoyable summer than anyone expected.
I hate it. Respectfully.
Yeah, I mean,
you guys don't deserve this.
Well, I don't know about that.
No, you don't. No, you don't. Since all Yankee fans speak for me somehow, like, okay, then all Red Sox fans speak for you too. Y'all don't deserve this.
Why? Because we wanted our team to spend more?
No, because y'all are Red Sox fans. That speaks for itself.
Champions is what I'm hearing.
Oh, brother.
I told you a month ago, and I'm going to keep asking it as this keeps getting worse and worse for you. Would you rather play us or anyone else in the playoffs?
Can I say legitimately that I do not have any preference? I don't.
Because you're just going to lose no matter what. So it
doesn't matter. No, I just want the Yankees to win a game or 2 in a row before I start talking about who I prefer in the playoffs. I can't, bro, the Yankees can't beat shit at the moment. They can't beat the streets. And you just sit there and ask me, who would I prefer to play in the playoffs? Hey, can they just win 2 straight first? Like, I can't remember the last time the Yankees won 2 straight games. I cannot remember legitimately the last time they won 2 straight games. I am in no position to talk about preference.
When the Reds came into town and swept you, I was like, oh, that's bad. Like, you can't have that. Like, I thought that was the get right series.
Bro, first of all, it's gotten to the point of the season. It's so bad right now, like consuming the Yankees in any way, that I bought tickets for one of the games, the first one. Like, Ellie tripled, and it was breathtaking watching that man run in person. Sure. It was breathtaking. And then he homered. I was like, wow, I got my money's worth. That's where we're at. Like, they lost the fucking game. I'm like, well, I'm leaving here with something. I left here with something.
The last time they won consecutive games, they won the last game of the Dodgers series, June 9th, and then they took the first 3 from Kansas City.
Yes.
And then lost on a walk-off at Kansas City.
Yep.
At Clay Holmes. And then beat the Red Sox, Luis Heel. And then it's just been pain since. Nothing but pain.
Nothing but pain. So I'd be remiss if I sit here and talk about who the fuck I'd prefer. I prefer the Yankees beat somebody. That's what I fucking prefer. Like I can't talk about who I'd prefer. Like everybody's scary to the Yankees right now. And you know who's the scariest team to the Yankees right now?
The Yankees.
The Yankees. That's who the scariest team for the Yankees is right now, themselves.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just you saw Boston, Baltimore, Atlanta. The Mets dropped 2 to the Mets. I don't even think I realized that. That's very funny.
They sure did. Yep.
Toronto only beat Toronto once. Oh, no, split with Toronto, excuse me.
Yep.
And then, quick sweep, 2 out of 3. And then rubber match with Tampa again tonight. Baltimore for 3. And then the All-Star break at Baltimore. And then Tampa for 4 off of the break. Mets at Red Sox at Phillies. Jesus.
Yeah, listen. The realistic hope here is the Yankees lick their wounds enough and finish. Let's say they win 10 of their next 20. Because the fact of the matter is the roster looks how it looks at this point. So, like the deadline, we'll see what the deadline brings. I, for one, don't have a lot of confidence in that because the Yankees' current offensive philosophy of let's just put the ball in play and see what happens doesn't exactly inspire confidence in what they're actually going to attack on said trade market. So I don't know, but if they could just finish 500 the next 20, I think they'll be fine. That, given what they've done the last 2 months, seems to be asking for a lot. So we'll see how that works. Just win every other game. It should be fine.
Good luck with that.
Good luck. Yes, indeed. And firing the manager is not going to fix a lot. I know we talk, and by we I mean the fan base talks a lot about Aaron Boone this and Aaron Boone that. Listen, I have my issues with Aaron Boone too. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I agree with everything he does. Now, in general, I care far less about who's managing the team than the average fan. Because if you have enough talent, it matters significantly fucking less. Aaron Boone could yell. Like, Aaron Boone's too optimistic. That's people's biggest problem. And there aren't many things I care less about than that. Because Aaron Boone could be optimistic. You could bring back Billy Martin. You could bring back Lou Piniella. That's not going to make DJ LeMahieu suck less, bro. That's not going to make Anthony Volpe stink less. That's not going to make Andy's dude stink less. The roster, as constructed, yes, some of it is bad luck, and yes, some of it is bad fucking management, is why we are here. If they want to fire Aaron Boone, fire him. This is not saying they should never fire Aaron Boone. He should keep his job. I don't give a fuck if he keeps his job. But this ain't about him is all I'm saying. And firing him is just not going to change as much as people seem to think it's going to change.
I would normally agree with the sentiment, but when guys don't even know where bases are, excuse me. And I mean, even in the Red Sox series, not crossing home because you're jogging when it was a force out situation. And he's just like constantly like, we're right there. We're so close. Like I'm not saying you got to trash your whole team to the media. That's bad too. But it doesn't seem like there's any level of accountability from him. And that's where it's like, yeah, that's bad. Like Cora can go like full Ime Udoka sometimes. And he's like, this is a team full of dumb assholes.
Right.
And it typically works. You know what I mean? Like there's typically a bounce back there. Whereas Boone's just like happy-go-lucky. I think that wears off after a while. Like being a player's manager can be great, but at once it's gone, like he won't get it back either. And I'm not saying it's gone yet, but I think it's close.
Well, to be fair, yes, in front of the camera, Aaron Boone is just the optimistic, happy-go-lucky fella. Like we've seen this over and over. We don't know what he's doing behind closed doors. We don't. I'm not sitting here saying he's some maniac behind closed doors either, but like I'm sure he's had talks with these dudes about the shit that they do. I'm positive of that much. And if they're gonna do the same shit, at what point does it become about the players? Like, yes, the Red Sox are run how to run. I don't have any firm belief about how good Alex Cora is or is not. I don't watch them enough to have one. With that said, I've seen their infield defense. It's a fucking disaster. Okay, sure. Like Are we making that about Alex Cora? Like, you know, like where does it stop? Oh, you do? Okay, fair. So you're consistent. Some are not with regard to this type of stuff. That's what makes these discussions rather frustrating, because it's like, well, other teams have the same kind of issues, but we look at their managers like they're the greatest thing since sliced bread because we don't watch that team every day. So like, yeah, we watch Aaron Boone every day, so we don't like him. And quite frankly, let's call a spade a spade. Not many fans actually like the fucking manager. They don't, because one, baseball managers don't do that much. And two, when a decision doesn't work, there's no way where it's going to hurt you a little bit. It's going to hurt you a shit ton. That's just how this works. You make decisions, they don't work, and they typically cost you baseball games. So that's what it is. But like, at what point is like we watch Anthony Volpe do stupid shit like once every third game for an entire year? At what point are we looking at him instead of being like, well, Aaron Boone just doesn't hold these players accountable? If Aaron Boone's bringing this man to this office saying, hey, man, you got to cut this shit out, and he's still doing this shit, then he might just be stupid. He might just be dumb.
Definitely.
Yeah, he might just be fucking dumb. Like, this is not to, like, Aaron Boone's in-game decision-making could, I don't agree with a lot of it, okay? I'm not here to act like he's some fucking genius. Let me make myself clear. This is not an Aaron Boone defense about the job that he's doing or not doing. I think he is, because like, if you ask somebody who the best manager in baseball is, how many are going to have an actual really good opinion about that with shit to back it up?
Yeah, I mean, I think most people would end up saying a guy who doesn't even manage anymore. Like
right.
Charlie Manuel.
Right. Like, I think Kevin Cash is the best manager in baseball for my money. Like, I think he's one of the few managers that actually make a fucking difference on the bottom line. So, but like, if you ask me who the fucking fourth best manager is, I'm like, I don't fucking know. I don't know. Right. Like, the second best manager, I might tell you I don't know, to be honest with you. Like, I just think Kevin Cash makes a difference. I don't know who else does.
I think Cora for sure makes a difference, like a positive difference overall.
I've seen Cora do a lot of stupid shit too. A lot.
Sure, but I think this team, if the Red Sox were managed by Aaron Boone, they would be where Toronto is, if not lower.
Maybe that's true. I can argue that. Like, I also think if Alex Cora was managing the Yankees, he'd be in the same spot. No, Alex Cora is not making DJ LeMahieu better at baseball. He ain't making Anthony Volpe better at baseball. Like
he would make Anthony Volpe better at baseball. I firmly disagree with that. I think he would make Volpe better at baseball. He wouldn't let Volpe change his swing path like an idiot. Like, he wouldn't allow that. Well, and he would utilize his speed more. I think Volpe has like one steal the last like month and a half or something like that.
You can't steal first, Coley.
Sure, but like we said, he's getting on base. Like,
no, he's not.
315 clip once a game.
He's not. His OBP the last like whatever the sample is. I read it yesterday. It's like 289. He ain't getting on base. He ain't getting on base. Now, don't get me wrong. It's ridiculous that he has one steal in that time frame. I'm not here to argue that either. But also, they give him a green light. That's not about manager. That's not about Aaron fucking Boone. They give him a green light. Like, hey, go when you feel like it. They give him a
right.
Green
That's
light.
where but that is managerial. Like, not it's when you not, feel like it.
He has the green light. They don't have to.
But if it's when you feel like it, then yeah, you do need to tell him, because he clearly isn't taking advantage of it.
Then that seems like a between the ears issue for him.
Right. That's where the manager can just tell him to go. Like Duran.
Well, who's to say he's not? We don't know that.
You think now he's just not? He's getting steal signs and just ignoring them.
He has to be comfortable to actually do it, right? Like, not everybody. Like, this is not having the contact plan at third base where everybody runs in the outs. The stupidest trend in Major League Baseball, by the way, is that like everybody just running on. It's so fucking dumb. But I digress. Like, yeah, you could tell somebody, "Hey, man, go." They have to get a jump they feel comfortable enough with to do it, and feel comfortable enough they're going to take the fucking base. And like, he just moved out of the leadoff spot, so he's been batting in front of Juan Soto this entire time.
Too.
Like, yeah, like he's been batting in front of Juan Soto this entire time. So like if you get thrown out a second, they're going to look at you crazy with Juan Soto in the batter's box. So it's tough, but I don't think Fire Aaron Boone's going to do what y'all think it is. And if I see one more person suggest Don Mattingly, I'm going to lose my mind. Stop. Please give it a rest. Stop. At least George Girardi, that's a stupid suggestion too, but he got a championship ring at least. Long time ago, he got a championship ring at least. Don Mattingly, bring back Buck Showalter. Stop. Get a grip.
Oh, Showalter for sure seems like who they would go with too.
No, thank you. I don't have time. No thing. I mean, he would fit what they seem to like on offense these days. He'd fit that. He would agree. Like, oh yeah,
Sure.
put the ball in play.
Sure.
Yeah. Fuck damage. Gotta put the ball in play. Put pressure on the defense. He'd agree with that.
I hope Boone is the manager the rest of my life. It's been nothing but good.
I don't like you very much.
I don't know what you want from me. It's your manager. You just defended him.
There we go with that defend word. Stop it. I did not. No, I did not.
I said Cora would be better than him, and you said no, he wouldn't. And then call all your players idiots.
That's not. We have this on tape. That's not what
you said. Volpe was standing at first, ignoring green lights like that. So the manager can't tell his own guy to steal second. That's what you said.
I said Volpe has green lights. Is what I said. That's what I said.
And the manager can't get him off of first. He's like, I refuse to steal second because the man.
The problem is he ain't getting to first. That's the problem.
We're talking about once he reaches first.
Okay.
He's ignoring his manager and just outright.
Okay. The 4 times he's reached first in the past month, he's stolen 1 base. So.
Yeah, the other 3 times are inexplicable that he didn't go. But Cora wouldn't do anything about that. Sure. Whatever you say. Listen. Whatever you say.
This guy said I defended Aaron Boone. You are a bad faith merchant.
You said crazy. Cora wouldn't have them in any different position. I said they would.
That's not an Aaron Boone defense. That's me dunking on the roster. That is not a defense.
The Red Sox roster is objectively not something people are writing home about. And he has them in the same position, essentially. They're both wild card teams.
True or false? The Red Sox have more than 2 people who can hit.
Yeah, a lot of that's because of where Cora positions them in the lineup.
No, it's not. No, the fuck it's not.
It is. No, absolutely it's not. Is. If Rafael were leading off, he would not have the good numbers he has.
Well, nobody with sense is leading off. Well, you know what? Alex Verdugo is our leadoff hitter. Let me not.
I think we did lead off Rafael at one point.
Did you? Bro, Rafael has a 280 OBP, bro. Lead off how?
I want to see. I think they were just trying to get him going.
I'll get him going back to the dugout.
Where is it? Yeah, I batted first for 2 games.
Oh, okay. Small, incredibly small sample. We don't know what.
All I'm saying is they tried it. All I'm saying is they tried.
I don't like. We're attributing Connor Wong breaking out because of where he's batting. Jaron Duran, because
I think Duran is. Yeah.
I asked you if you had more than 2 people who could hit. You said yes. You then attributed some of this to where they bat in the lineup. Like he's utilizing the players correctly is what the implication here is. Yeah, so we're making that about Alex Cora?
Yes. Not every player. I said some players. Okay. Duran, yes, absolutely. From the beginning.
I firmly disagree. I do think, based on the little I read, because I follow a lot of Red Sox fans for some fucking reason. Follow a lot of y'all. I do think that Cora's relationship with Jaron Duran has significantly helped him. So I'm not trying to act like Cora has no hand in anything. I'm not. Let me make myself clear. I'm not. But I don't think Cora slotting in Connor Wong 5th or whoever it is that we're talking about.
No one said that.
I know that, but whoever we're attributing his success to, or their success to Cora, rather, I'm just not sure that's about him. More than it's about them. More than it's about the player.
How many double switches as Boone does this year where he had a pitcher in the lineup late in the game because he didn't want to fuck up where the order was about to be?
I'm going to go with 0.
Okay, Cora's done that at least 5 times. He's a way better manager than Aaron Boone.
I'm not here to argue that.
You literally have been for the last.
I have not. I said if you put him on the Yankees, we have the same record. That's not.
And that's wrong. That's objectively wrong.
How is it wrong?
He wouldn't keep trotting out Clay Holmes and being like, throw a sinker a million times in a row. He wouldn't do that.
I I've seen.
He wouldn't have had Volpe leading off.
I've seen
4 months of the season. He wouldn't have done that.
That I 1,000% agree with you on.
Right. Boone's punted wins all season long.
Well, sure. One could argue that if you want to, but it doesn't change what the roster is. Because and here's the thing with Boone. In general, and I get a baseball manager is an extremely thankless job in the first place. But we are hyper focused on the times where Boone does some bullshit, but there are plenty of times where he manages well, and we just don't say anything about it.
So you're not defending him.
It's happened. I already said I don't care if they fire him. I don't think managers do that much. All I'm saying is the coverage is what it is because we look at baseball managers how we look at them, especially the fans of the team. Because I'm not talking about what the fuck a Phillies fan thinks about Aaron Boone. I'm not talking about that. Yankee fans primarily is what I'm talking about. I expect the Red Sox fan to dunk on Aaron Boone. All you know is Aaron Boone losing to y'all when it matters. Of course you go dunk on Aaron Boone. I get it.
To us, to the Astros.
Right.
Like, he uses us to make sure the Yankees lose that series. Like, yeah, he's a very bad man. Like, he's objectively bad. I don't know what he wants
that's the kind of shit that we should be bringing up. Motivational tactics. Strange motivational tactics. Extremely strange motivational tactics.
I want to show the Yankees on the verge of being swept a video of them losing 4 straight games. What could go wrong?
I don't understand. I don't understand what. And here's the thing, man. Like I'm not a motivational coach, so I don't know what it is that they do or how they go about their business. Okay, so like in a vacuum, what they did, I'm not even here to dunk on it. Because again, I don't do that job. I don't know what they do. I tend to be relatively reasonable about these things. My only problem here is I don't know why the fuck you need to tell us about it. Why? That's my
before the game too.
Why?
Like the game hadn't even started.
You know when you tell us that? When you complete the comeback.
Sure.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. You want to tell us? Listen, they come back from 0-3 and then they go on to win a championship. Brother, you could show up to the parade in an Ortiz jersey. Nobody would care. Nobody would care. Not a soul would fucking care because you won the championship. Nobody cares. You tell us you didn't even win a game. Not like you won 3 games. Maybe you tell us that. Like, all right, we watched Ortiz and them hit 18 million home runs in the stadium for 4 straight games or whatever, and we picked ourselves up off the mat. You ain't win not one game. And you tell us this when you're down 3-0 and the fat lady is getting the vocals warmed up. And you're telling us, yeah, we was watching Red Sox highlights from 2004. Why? Why do we need to hear this out loud?
So the Red Sox have had one projected starter even in March, not even like January. One projected starter make all their starts this year in the rotation.
Yes.
Pivetta, Bayo, Garrett Whitlock, and who's the fucking asshole we signed?
Giolito?
Yeah, Giolito. I like Giolito. I say fucking asshole because that's just what I say. I don't think he's an asshole. They've all been on the IL for ranging periods of time. They've all missed. Giolito, obviously, the whole season. Bayo's missed starts. Pivetta's missed starts. Tanner Houck was not a projected rotation member until Giolito went down.
Right.
2 weeks into the season, he lost half of his infield. Exactly one half. And Von Grissom's played 22 games. So, no, that's sorry. 23 games this year. So three-fourths of his projected starting infield have just not played this year. Wilyer Abreu's been on the IL. Tyler O'Neill's been on the IL. Rafael Devers should have been on the IL. He just sat games. He didn't actually go to the IL.
Incredibly frustrated as somebody who hasn't been fancy. But go ahead, carry on.
For sure, yeah.
Extremely frustrated.
Masataka Yoshida's been their DH for the 46 games he's played. Right. This has been a guy who's had Connor Wong, Jaron Duran, Cedar Rafael, who's a rookie, and Tanner Houck, who has already pitched the most innings of his career, and it's July 11th. I have no idea how anyone could say he has not made a difference this year specifically.
You would know that better than me. I didn't say he hasn't made a difference. Let me make myself clear. I didn't say that. All I said was you haven't. Who's managing this Yankee team as currently constructed does not fucking matter. That's all I said. That's all I said. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Alex Cora would manage the Yankees and they'd have, what do they have now? Like 58 wins, 54, whatever it is. They have
56. I think they'd have, no, I don't think it's that much, but it would, like, they wouldn't be on this sustained losing streak. Because even when the Red Sox were bad at the beginning of the year, they were one game plus or minus 500 the whole time. That's definitely a point to be made. Because like for the last 3 years, the Yankees have gone into the world's worst malaise for like 30 games. Yeah. So like, if one wants to dunk on Aaron Boone for that, be my guest.
fine. I still don't think that's primarily about him, because I do think at some point, if we're going to, I don't really talk about the leadership stuff because a lot of that is baked in confirmation bias. And I just tend to stay away from it. But like, if we're going to talk about the manager's leadership, then you got to talk about the best players' leadership too, right?
Of course. I mean, he yelled at Stroman and Glaber hit a home run. Everything was fine.
Don't fucking get me started. Oh my God, don't get me started.
It fixed everything. That's all anyone can talk about.
If we had
how much it fixed.
If we had recorded right after that happened, like the entire episode would have been me dunking on that bullshit. Because it's one thing if you yell at him in the dugout, just independent of anything, because you could just say, all right, I was hyping my guy up, right? But like, that's one thing if you want to do that. Like, okay, you're in the middle of a losing streak. You went a little crazy in the dugout. Nobody was saying, it was all right, bro. He just yelling again, him hyped up, whatever. First of all, he did this in the middle of a start where he went 4 1/3 innings and gave up 3 runs. So not even a good start. He did this in the middle of. Second of all, Glaber did nothing wrong on the play. He allowed a slow grounder. Vlad ran his fastest speed of the year because of course he fucking did, and he beat it out. There was nothing wrong with Glaber. Has done enough wrong where you could yell at him for a lot of shit. And Stroman chose the one time where he did everything that he could. So this idea that, oh, well, the Yankees have never, this team has never won. Maybe they need something like this. What team has won and has had people chewing out other dudes on the field? Please tell me. Where has that happened? Like on the field. I'm not talking about in the clubhouse. That's their business. We don't know what's going on. I'm not talking about in the dugout. Again, whatever to that. On the field for some shit that wasn't even his fault. And then on top of that, Stroman hit the next batter. Well, on top of everything else here, Stroman hit the very next fucking batter. So all that, show some intensity, bro. And then hit the next batter. It's like, well, hold the mirror up, Marcus, and hold up your end of the bargain. Because when you're giving up 15 walks a game, ain't nobody like, hey, man, throw some fucking strikes. They should at this rate.
I'm sure it'll fix itself out.
It will. The Yankees are not this bad. They're not this bad. Like they've been White Sox level bad for a month, bro. They're not this bad.
It is just very funny. Like every April and May, it's not his fault, but it is the Judge era. Every April and May, every Yankees fan's just like, this is the best team I've ever seen. Like, I don't know why anyone's even contemplating playing baseball anymore. Just hand us the trophy now. And then June and July come, and it's just like, we may never win a game again. Like, we might never win a baseball game. It's been every year for the past 5 years.
Well, I mean, it hasn't. But like 2022
18 was different. Every other season's been like this.
2022 and 2024 in particular have been exactly that. And I have never seen a team not play to their actual level of talent for larger periods of time than the Yankees in 22 and 24. Because it's like, all right, they're world beaters. They're 50 and 20. And it's like, well, they're not that good. Well, same team, next stretch, 6 and 20. Okay, they're not that bad. What the fuck are they then? You know what I mean? Like, I've never seen it. And this has gone on 2 of the last 3 years. Like 2 years ago, they started off like 50 and 16 or something stupid like that. And everybody was playing over their heads. Like Trevino had like a 130 OPS plus. It was like everybody was playing over their fucking heads. And then the skid hit. And then like the regression just went crazy in the other direction. And it's like, okay, they're not this bad either. So what are they? It's tough. But they do go on a slump, a prolonged slump every year. And that does raise questions about their culture and what the manager is doing. I can't argue that much.
You're right. But I'm sure it'll be fine. We'll see everybody maybe next week, maybe 2 weeks. I don't know. Still adjusting over here, but we'll be back.